Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next hour. CP Radhakrishnan takes oath as the 15th Vice President of India. The swearing-in follows the resignation of Jagdeep Dhankar in July. Prime Minister Modi to launch Gyan Bharatam portal on Manuscript digitization at the International Manuscript Conference in New Delhi today. In a historic judgment, Brazil's former president Jair Bolsonaro given 27-year jail term for plotting a coup to remain in power. Trump calls the conviction very surprising. Poland's foreign minister is in Kyiv for talks on security, days after a drone incursion into Polish airspace escalated tensions between Warsaw and Moscow. And Qatar blames Israel for undermining Gaza peace efforts as PM Al-Sani to meet Donald Trump in Washington today. UNSC condemns US-backed Doha strikes. India's Vice President-elect CP Radhakrishnan took oath as the 15th Vice President of India at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi on Friday. President Draupadi Murmu administered the oath of office to Radhakrishnan. The swearing-in ceremony was attended by senior leaders across party lines. On Wednesday, the Election Commission certified the election, declaring CP Radhakrishnan as the 15th Vice President of India. After the ceremony, Radhakrishnan paid floral tribute to Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, at the Rajghat memorial dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi in New Delhi. Vice President CP Radhakrishnan visited Prerna Sthal in the Parliament House complex, where he laid a wreath at the Gandhi statue and planted a Rudraksh sapling at the site. CP Radhakrishnan took charge as the 15th Vice President of India on Friday. He met Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman, Minority Affairs Minister, among others. And now let's connect to DD India's Dibendu Mondal, who is joining us on the story from New Delhi. Dibendu, what is the immediate task at hand for the new Vice President, CP Radhakrishnan, and how do you think he can manage the floor of the upper house?
Well, Tanvi, we now have officially the 15th Vice President. The election was just concluded a couple of days back, and the Vice President has now taken oath this morning. Soon after he did take the oath, he went to the Parliament where, the office of the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, because the Vice President is also the ex officio Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So therefore, he did take charge as the Chairman as well as the Vice President of India. And what we are expected, and in fact what I pick up from my sources is also that the Chairman and the Vice President has called for a meeting of all the floor leaders of the Rajya Sabha, where he will be meeting all the floor leaders this afternoon to have a conversation with them, to make him familiarized with all the floor leaders, because the Vice Chairman, in fact the Vice President and the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha's primary duty is perhaps to ensure the smooth functioning of the upper house. So therefore, the meeting of the floor leaders is expected this afternoon, where the Vice President will be holding a meeting, and after that he will also be meeting with the officials of the Rajya Sabha and familiarize himself with all the working officials of the Rajya Sabha as well as all the political parties, because remember, he has to smoothly function and conduct the business. He will also be meeting with the senior members of the government. He has already done that in the morning soon after taking oath, but in the due course of time he will also be meeting with the floor leaders of both the Rajya Sabha as well as the Lok Sabha, because he is responsible for conduction of the smooth business. But remember, he has been a parliamentarian, in fact twice elected from Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu. He has been the governor of Maharashtra as well as Jharkhand, so he understands how politics functions. He has been a person who is rooted in politics. His association with the BJP goes long back, since he was 16 years old, and therefore he understands the politics of this country, and it is expected that he will be able to take all the political parties along with him while he conducts his business as the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, and we'll see him for the first time as when he will be conducting this business in the upper house in the monsoon session, because in fact, I beg your pardon, in the winter session, the monsoon session just concluded earlier, in fact later last month. So therefore, the immediate task, as you asked, Tanvi, is familiarizing himself, building rapport with all the political parties that he has to deal with in the parliament, and also familiarizing himself with the functioning of the parliament.
Indeed. Dipendu, also for the benefit of our viewers, if you could tell us what role and powers does the Vice President of India have?
Well, the Vice President of India, as per Constitution, is again a nominal post, which really doesn't have much as far as the Vice President is concerned. But the Vice President acts as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So therefore, the powers that he draws mostly is in virtue of him being the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. He is responsible for conducting the smooth business and function of the upper house. It is his responsibility to take all the political parties along with him while conducting the business of the upper house. But he also in fact draws his salary not as the Vice President of India, but as the ex officio chairman, because the Constitution doesn't allow the Vice President to draw salaries, because the Vice President's role as far as Constitution is concerned is only limited when the President vacates his or her office, or when the President is no more. It is only then the Vice President takes charge as the President of India. So therefore, the powers, in fact, he is also the, as I said, as the ex officio chairman, he also co-chairs with the Speaker of the Lok Sabha at several important meetings. But having said this, Tanvi, after the President, he is the second citizen of India, which makes the post of Vice President extremely important, apart from the fact that he is responsible for conducting the smooth business of the upper house.
Yes, thank you very much, Dipendu, for explaining to us roles and responsibilities of the Vice Presidential post. CP Radhakrishnan there taking oath as the 15th Vice President of the country. All right, let's move on now. With an aim to revitalize India's unparalleled manuscript wealth, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the Gyan Bharatam portal, a dedicated digital platform to accelerate manuscript digitization, preservation and public access. He will also address the gathering on the occasion. Prime Minister Modi will participate in the international conference on Gyan Bharatam at around 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time in the national capital. The Ministry of Culture's Gyan Bharatam is a landmark national initiative dedicated to preserving, digitizing and disseminating India's manuscript heritage. Marking the formal launch of the Gyan Bharatam mission, the ministry is organizing the first ever Gyan Bharatam International Conference on reclaiming India's knowledge legacy through manuscript heritage. Gyan Bharatam is a part of a visionary national movement dedicated to safeguarding and disseminating India's vast manuscript wealth. It will serve both as a tribute to the nation's civilizational roots and as a forward-looking step towards Prime Minister's vision of a Viksit Bharat by 2047, where India emerges as a true Vishwaguru world leader. From a distant frontier, the Northeast is now recognized as a front-runner. Union Minister of Railways Ashwini Vaishnav underscored Mizoram's development journey in a newspaper article titled Mizoram train underscores frontier to front-runner vision. The minister said that the people of northeastern states carried aspirations of progress and infrastructure and opportunities they deserved remained earlier out of reach. He said that all this changed when Prime Minister Narendra Modi initiated the Act East policy. The article comes as Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a historic milestone for Mizoram, is set to inaugurate the Bhairabi-Sairang railway line on Saturday. Emphasizing on the investments in railways, the Railway Minister stated that the budget allocation for railways in the region has increased fivefold compared to 2009 to 2014 period. He added that this fiscal year alone, 10,440 crore rupees has been allocated, while the total budgetary allocation from 2014 to 2025 is 62,477 crore rupees. Today, railway projects worth 77,000 crore rupees are underway. Never before has the Northeast witnessed such record levels of investment. Prime Minister will inaugurate the Bhairabi-Sairang railway line on Saturday. Built at a cost of over 8,000 crore rupees, this 51-kilometre project will connect Aizawl to the national railway network for the first time. Along with this, the Prime Minister will also flag off 3 new train services from Sairang to Delhi, Kolkata and Guwahati. India's Minister of Food Processing Industries, Chirag Paswan, engaged with the European Commission delegation led by Commissioner Christopher Hansen in New Delhi. Taking on X, the minister said that the discussions focused on strengthening India-EU cooperation in the food processing sector with an emphasis on innovation, investment and sustainable growth. The 17th meeting of the India-France Joint Working Group on Counter-Terrorism was held in Paris, France on 11th of September. The Indian delegation was led by Joint Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, K.D. Deval, and the French delegation led by French Counter-Terrorism Ambassador Olivier Caron. Both sides condemned the dastardly terrorist attack on innocents on 22nd April this year in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir. The two sides exchanged views on the current threat assessment in the respective countries, including state-sponsored cross-border terrorism, activities of terrorists in the respective regions, and the terror threat in the Middle East. The discussion on bilateral and multilateral cooperation focused on intensifying capacity-building measures through training exercises. The two sides further discussed broadening the scope of India-France dialogue to include organized crimes, combating online propaganda as a focused bilateral effort. You're with us on DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. Life crawls back to normalcy in Nepal as young protesters back former Chief Justice Sushila Karke as interim Prime Minister. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio backs Trump's ambassador pick Sergio Gore's remarks, calling India-US partnership one of the most important in the world.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me, at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. Now, news from Nepal. Amid the widespread Gen Z protests in the country, Chief of Army Staff of Nepalese Army, General Ashok Raj Sigdel, arrived at the official residence of the President of Nepal in Kathmandu for a high-level meeting. The meeting is taking place with key political and institutional leaders. Nepalese President Ramachandra Paudel is also participating in the meeting. One of the key agendas of the meeting is discussions around the formation of an interim government and the possible appointment of former Chief Justice Sushila Karke as interim Prime Minister. Meanwhile, prohibitory orders are issued today in the capital Kathmandu and other districts including Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. The curfew is in place from 7 a.m. today till 6 a.m. tomorrow. Essential services can be operated only by public and union organizations. Places of daily consumables remain open from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Public buses have started operating their services from new bus park from today. Public transport service, which was closed after the government issued prohibitory orders, has been resumed gradually from today. And let's now connect with our correspondent Shweta Singh joining us from Kathmandu for more. Shweta, hi. Continuous dialogue has been going on for 2 days for the selection of the interim Prime Minister. Has a consensus been reached?
No, Tanvi, you see, from 9 a.m. today, dialogues had reopened. Yesterday, even till midnight, the dialogues were ongoing between Army Chief, Gen Z representatives. Sushila Karki was also there. Today, President is having dialogue with various constitutional scholars, and consensus have been reached, but yet no concrete solution is seen. No formal name have come out to lead the interim government. And you see, various organizations are putting effort to bring life back to normal in Kathmandu. But it's really not easy with the burnt buildings, with burnt Supreme Court. Though you see, Supreme Court have urged to start the court hearing from September 14, that is from Sunday. But things are going slow now.
Okay, so what are the demands of the Gen Z protesters here? What all do they want in the formation and the leadership from here onwards?
Actually, there is no solid, I would say, demand from Gen Z, because there are so many different groups. The only thing was they were against corruption. The simple thing they wanted was no corruption, and the government, whom they claimed to be corrupt, had to be dissolved. So their entire protest, entire effort was to dismantle the current government. So that is done. Now looking forward, they want a fresh face, representative who can take Gen Z concerns forward. So they want someone young. So there were so many names from last 2 days making circulation around social media and the different Reddit, Discord platforms where Gen Z were discussing. And you see, Nepali Army has also shared 8 numbers where Gen Z can share their ideas or what they want from the government on these numbers. These have been spread across Nepal, so Gen Z can call on this number and share their wishes and ideas. So Nepali Army is also trying their best to know what exactly Gen Z want. Meanwhile, from yesterday, you see, as things have been a bit quieter, all the political parties have started issuing their press statement that solution should be taken out within constitution with the democratic views, and so many civil societies now they are showing their respect toward president, that he's the one who is guardian of the constitution. He should take the decision. So there is so much of
and opposition parties have also come in support of the Gen Z movement.
See, in a press statement, definitely they cannot risk saying that we are against you, because they have seen going against the Gen Z, what was the plight. Every leader was dragged out of the house and they were running for life on the street. So no, they cannot straightforward say we are not supporting Gen Z. The only very sober way of saying is we want solution to be within constitutional limits. So we expect that when president brings something on the table, Gen Z approves that, there is no further protest, and really that is within the democratic means and in a frame of constitution.
Okay, Shweta, for some more perspective here, Nepal's recent crisis is just one example of how social media has driven demands for change. Tell us more about these apps used in Nepal, popular with the young Gen Z generation.
Then we see, actually, social media, there is a lot of categorization. If you see here, Gen Z is more popular on, they are using Instagram very popularly. They are using TikTok, because these are the platforms where reels are made, where they dance, sing. So Instagram and your TikTok, then Reddit. Reddit is a platform like Quora. They are sharing their ideas, discussing. Discord is another server where Gen Z is coming together and discussing. So Facebook is there. Lots of sharing of ideas is happening on Facebook. Definitely WhatsApp is a bit closed as compared to other social platforms. But it is Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, Discord, where Gen Z are discussing their content, and a lot many others are also there, but these are very popular ones.
Okay.
And you see, but it is very unfortunate that many people, I would say Gen Z or young people, they have started using AI mixing with the current scenario, and many false videos and reels are out in public. That is really frightening. Yesterday, I remember I had seen a reel where it was mentioned Sher Bahadur Deoba died at 10:40. With the accuracy of time, it is really frightening. How can this happen? Then I contacted Congress office, and then we came to know, no, it's false news. He is healthy, it's fine. So see, this is the time when many people are misusing this platform to just spread fake news, because such news like using AI and then manipulating, because many people have been trained to verify that the video is from AI or not, it is real or not. But everyone, common public is not. So
Yes.
this is the time where I have seen AI being misused, and fake videos, wrong videos being circulated. And
But for
that
now,
have been,
yes, of course, the perils of social media, the AI-generated videos do remain. But for now, normalcy and life returning back to normal, right, Shweta?
yes.
Yes. So,
I'm
yeah, please go on.
Yes, actually, then we see effort has been put to bring life to normal here. But it is not very easy, because
yes.
you see, if so much of damage has been
Yes,
done.
the
It is
road,
so much of damage.
yes, the road.
Not only road, but imagine the superstores, 5 superstores burned down, Encel office burned down, Nepal Vanij Bank burned down. So the people who were having jobs there now are jobless, I would say. Until unless these buildings are reconstructed or restocked, how will anybody give job to these people? So more than 5,000 people are jobless just after this demonstration. So when Gen Z fought for jobs, they have created another 5,000 people standing jobless.
Okay,
so this is really unfortunate.
We hope the next God takes ownership soon, and we get an interim Prime Minister, and it goes in the right way, on the path of development. Thank you very much, Shweta Singh, for joining us on DD India. All right, let's move on now. U.S. envoy designate to India, Sergio Gore, has said that Washington and New Delhi are on track to resolve hiccups in their relationship. Speaking at the Senate confirmation hearing of his on Thursday, Gore underlined that India is a strategic partner whose trajectory will shape the region and beyond.
India is a strategic partner whose trajectory will shape the region and beyond. Under President Donald Trump's strong leadership, I'm committed to advancing America's interest in this important partnership. India's geographic position, economic growth, and military capabilities make it a cornerstone of regional stability and a critical part of promoting prosperity and advancing the security interests that our nations share. As Secretary Rubio noted, India is one of the most important relationships our nation has in the world. If confirmed as ambassador, I will work to deliver on the President's agenda and advance U.S. interests by increasing our defense cooperation, ensuring fair and beneficial trade, deepening energy security, and furthering technology.
So the U.S. ambassador-designate emphasized that India's geographic position, economic growth and military capabilities make it a cornerstone for regional stability and a crucial part of promoting shared prosperity and security interests.
We might have our moment of hiccups right now. We are on the track of resolving that. Our relationship with the Indian government, with the people of India, extends many more decades. And it's a much warmer relationship.
Now, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio too stressed that India is one of the top relationships the U.S. has in the world today. Supporting Sergio Gore at his confirmation hearing, Rubio said Washington is in a period of extraordinary transition in that relationship with Delhi.
India is, I would say, one of the top relationships the United States has in the world today in terms of the future of what the world's going to look like. The 21st century, the story is going to be written in the Indo-Pacific. In fact, it's so important we've actually changed the name of the combatant command to the Indo-Pacific. India is at the core of that. And we are in a period of extraordinary transition in that relationship with India. We've got some really important issues coming up that we need to work with them on and work through.
On day 3 of his visit to Varanasi, Mauritius Prime Minister Dr. Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam immersed himself in Varanasi's spiritual heritage at the iconic Kashi Vishwanath temple. This visit highlights the profound cultural ties between the two countries. DD India's Akshay Dongre spoke exclusively to the Mauritian Prime Minister.
Hello and welcome. You're watching DD India with me, Akshay Dongre, and we are here in the spiritual capital of India, Varanasi. And with us we have a very special guest, Dr. Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam, the Prime Minister of Mauritius. Sir, thank you so much for speaking with us and welcome to India, welcome to Varanasi.
Thank you.
What are your sentiments here in the spiritual capital of India?
I was very touched when I landed at Varanasi. The people were on the street everywhere with flags. They've been waiting there for ages apparently. The welcome, even today, the welcome is tremendous. I've never seen this before.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. NATO strengthens defences on its eastern flank. India's External Affairs Minister speaks to his Polish counterpart for an early end to hostilities. US investigators release images of the probable suspect involved in the shooting of 31-year-old conservative political analyst Charlie Kirk. And death toll from flash floods in Bali rises to 14. Search continues for the missing.
We lock our doors, put up fences, all to protect our house. But what about the home that we all share? Today's episode is to remind us that preservation extends beyond humans.
We tell our buyers that the coffee they're buying or they're consuming is contributing or is preserving the habitat for these many species of birds and animals.
We are promoting ecotourism only. We call volunteers to walk on the field so that they can learn from the village.
GDSI is a ranking system created by an association to make its location sustainable in terms of tourism and event management.
We use the feces as manure for our crops. That's how integrated farming becomes very profitable.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Tanvi Taneja. A reminder of the headlines we're tracking at this hour. CP Radhakrishnan takes oath as the 15th Vice President of India. The swearing-in follows the resignation of Jagdeep Dhankar in July. Prime Minister Modi to launch Gyan Bharatam portal on Manuscript digitization at the International Manuscript Conference in New Delhi today. In a historic judgment, Brazil's former president Jair Bolsonaro given 27-year jail term for plotting a coup to remain in power. Trump calls the conviction very surprising. Poland's foreign minister is in Kyiv for talks on security days after a drone incursion into Polish airspace escalated tensions between Warsaw and Moscow. Poland's foreign minister arrived in Kyiv on Friday for talks on security, days after a drone incursion into Poland escalated concerns over the spillover of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine's foreign minister Andrzej Sybiha shared an image showing him meeting his Polish counterpart Radoslaw Sikorski at a train station in Kyiv. Ukraine's foreign minister said that Ukraine and Poland stand firmly together. Both the leaders will hold substantial talks today about the shared security, Ukraine's EU and NATO accession and pressure on Moscow. The visit comes as Russia and its key ally Belarus began major joint military drills early on Friday. Meanwhile, Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk urged NATO allies not to pretend that nothing happened. Speaking to media after a National Security Council meeting, Tusk said that Poland was certain Russia was behind the attack, something he said was uncomfortable for those pushing for normalization with Moscow.
We don't think Russia is behind this provocation. We know it. However, I also understand that for all those who would like some kind of normalization, stabilization, some kind of policy of understanding with Russia, this situation is very uncomfortable. Because if what happened in the Polish skies on the night of September 10th is happening, it's hard to pretend that nothing happened. I hope that none of our allies will pretend that nothing happened, because it did happen. There have been unequivocal declarations of practical support for Poland. I heard this very clearly and unambiguously from the President of France, as well as the leaders of Great Britain, the Netherlands and Sweden.
Poland said 19 objects had entered its airspace during a large Russian air attack on Ukraine and that it had shot down those posing a threat. Moscow denied responsibility for the incident, saying that it had not planned to hit any targets in Poland. Meanwhile, several NATO members are sending troops, artillery and air defense systems to secure its eastern flank after what Poland called an unprecedented Russian drone incursion into its airspace. Among the first ones are France, which will deploy 3 Rafale fighter jets to help Poland protect its airspace. Announcing the same, French President Emmanuel Macron said Rafale fighter jets will contribute to the protection of Polish airspace and of NATO's eastern flank together with our allies. He added that the security of the European continent is their top priority. Macron stressed that NATO countries will not give in to Russia's increasing intimidation. Germany too said it would extend and expand its participation in NATO's air policing program to provide more cover to Polish airspace. Its defense ministry said that it would double the number of Eurofighter jets deployed to 4 and extend their mission by 3 months to the end of the year. The Czech Republic too said that it stands firmly with Poland. Lipavsky said on social media platform, their foreign minister, and I quote him here, Russian drones in Poland are a pure provocation by Kremlin. Czech stands firmly with Poland. We will defend the alliance territory, unquote. Meanwhile, Poland requested a UN Security Council session about the incident. Members Slovenia, Denmark, Greece, France and Britain asked the 15-member body also to meet over the incident. The meeting will take place on Friday at 1900 hours GMT. US President Donald Trump, however, said that Russia's drone incursion into Poland could have been a mistake.
Reaction to Russian drone incursion into Poland.
Could have been a mistake. Could have been a mistake. But regardless, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that whole situation. But hopefully it's going to come to an end.
Reacting to that, a Polish official said that there can be no mistake with such a large-scale attack on Poland. Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar spoke to Deputy Prime Minister and counterpart of his Radoslaw Sikorski on Thursday. He shared his concerns about recent developments pertaining to Poland's security. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar underlined that India favours an early end to hostilities and a durable solution for the Ukraine conflict. Britain launched a new package of Russia-related sanctions on Friday, targeting ships carrying Russian oil as well as companies and individuals supplying electronics, chemicals and explosives used to make Russian weapons. The British government said in a statement that this package was a response to recent suspected Russian aggression over Poland. The new sanctions target 70 more ships which Britain said were being used to transport Russian oil. And 30 companies and individuals, it said, were involved in supplying the Russian military with kits used in weapon systems, including one China-based electronics firm and one located in Turkey. Russia and Belarus are performing joint military drills, exercise Zapad 2025, beginning Friday, which will happen in both countries and in the Baltic and Barents Sea, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. The drills will be held near Borisov, a town east of capital Minsk. According to the ministry, the objective of the drills are to improve the skills of commanders and staffs, the level of cooperation and field training of regional and coalition grouping of troops. Held every 4 years, the 2025 edition of Zapad will culminate on September 16th. On to South America now. Former Brazil President Jair Bolsonaro has been sentenced to 27 years and 3 months in prison after being found guilty of plotting a military coup to remain in power. A panel of 5 Supreme Court justices handed down the sentence just hours after they had convicted the former leader. They ruled he was guilty of leading a conspiracy aimed at keeping him in power after he lost the 2022 election to his left-wing rival Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. 4 of the justices found him guilty, while 1 voted to acquit him. Bolsonaro did not attend the trial but has in the past called it a witch hunt. He now faces the prospect of spending the rest of his life in prison. Bolsonaro's lawyers are expected to argue that he should be kept under house arrest instead of being sent to jail, and will also plead for a lower sentence. But they will not be able to appeal against the verdict itself, as that would have only been possible if 2 out of the 5 justices had voted to acquit him. Bolsonaro was found guilty of 5 charges, all relating to his attempt to cling to power after he was defeated in the 2022 election. Next, developments related to Israeli strikes on Qatar, which have been condemned by the UN Security Council on Thursday. The members called for de-escalation in a statement agreed by all 15 members, including Israel's ally, the United States. The widely condemned Doha operation was highly sensitive because Qatar has been hosting and mediating negotiations aimed at securing a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict. Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani also accused Israel of trying to derail efforts to end the war in Gaza by attacking Hamas leaders in Doha, but pledged to continue its mediation efforts.
We believe fully in mediation and the peaceful settlement of disputes, and Qatar's role is being appreciated worldwide. Our efforts have proven that our efforts in cooperation with the United States and Egypt has led to tangible results. It led to the release of 148 hostages. It has led to providing humanitarian aid to Gaza. It was a glimmer of hope, a rare glimmer of hope in this Gaza. But attacking our territories while we were busy with negotiations has uncovered the intention of Israel. It is trying to undermine any prospect of peace.
Qatari Prime Minister is expected to meet US officials in New York and Washington on Friday to discuss the Israeli strike and the status of ceasefire talks in Gaza. Reportedly, he is also expected to see President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, the report added. The UAE on Friday summoned the Israeli ambassador over Israel's attack on Hamas leaders in Doha on Tuesday. US investigators on Thursday released images of a person of interest in the fatal shooting of conservative political activist Charlie Kirk and said that they had found the bolt-action rifle believed to have been used in the politically charged killing. The shooter has not been publicly identified and investigators are yet to publicly discuss any motive, but US President Donald Trump told reporters that he had an indication of the killer's motivation.
I'd rather not say. I think progress is being made. He's an animal, total animal. And hopefully they'll have him and they'll get him. What he did is disgraceful. Charlie Kirk was a great person, a great man, great in every way, especially with youth. And what he did, what this man did was disgraceful. So hopefully we'll have him and we will deal with him very appropriately.
Investigators found a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a nearby wooded area and were examining that along with palm prints and footprints for clues. The FBI offered a $100,000 reward for information, leading to the killer's arrest, and circulated images taken from security cameras showing a person of interest wearing a black top, black sunglasses and a dark baseball cap. Utah state officials called the person in the photos the potential shooter. Back to Asia, a chartered plane carrying some 300 South Koreans who were detained in a large-scale US immigration raid at a battery project site in Georgia landed at Incheon Airport on Friday. Their return capped a week of intense negotiations by Seoul to win their release and bring them back home. According to South Korea's foreign minister who visited Washington this week, the two countries plan to establish a working group to consider a new type of visa for Koreans. The plane also carried 10 workers from China, 3 from Japan and an Indonesian national. And next we take a look at other stories making news around the world. South Sudan's first Vice President Riek Machar has been charged with murder, treason and crimes against humanity for allegedly coordinating attacks by the White Army militia on federal forces in Nasser this March. Machar has been under house arrest since then. International powers have repeatedly called for Machar's release, warning that his detention could tip the country back into civil war. The death toll from flash floods in Bali has risen to 14, with 2 people still missing in Denpasar, though the rain has stopped and water levels are receding in most areas. Torrential rains earlier this week triggered flooding and landslides across 6 regions, blocking roads and disrupting access to the island's airport. Rescue teams continue emergency operations as water levels recede. Thailand's Department of National Park has temporarily shut down the aggressive animal show zone at Safari World after a lion fatally attacked a zookeeper. In response, 5 other open zoos across the country will undergo safety inspections. A police investigation is underway, with authorities gathering witness statements and forensic evidence. The iconic Shark Jaw building at Hanoi's Dung King Nia Tuk Square has been demolished, unveiling a revitalized public space near the Hoan Kiem Lake. A large LED screen now anchors the square, which features national flags, improved pedestrian zones and decorative flower pots with QA1 pavilion symbols. Locals praise the openness and accessibility, though concerns remain over traffic congestion. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India's Lakshya Sen will face compatriot Ayush Shetty in the quarterfinals of the Hong Kong Open on Friday. Pakistan begins their Asia Cup campaign against Oman in Dubai today. Also on the other side, we take a look at what was behind Berlin's power crisis.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Thank you for staying with us on DD India News Hour. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Guided by the vision of affordable healthcare for all, the government has aligned health reforms with flagship programs like Ayushman Bharat, ensuring that both curative and preventive care reach every section of society. The recent GST rationalization reflects this vision by promoting a health-positive tax regime. While healthcare services by doctors, hospitals and diagnostic centers remain exempt from the GST, the reduction in taxes on essential medicines and medical devices has brought down treatment costs for patients. In drugs and medicines, the GST has been reduced from 12 to 5% or nil. No GST on individual health insurance, exempting individual health insurance from the GST bracket. This will make premiums cheaper for middle-class families. All dairy milk items are exempt. Only UHT milk attracts 5% GST, which is now also fully exempt. It will ensure daily nutrition remains tax-free, making these essential protein sources affordable, directly benefiting households, especially women, children and the elderly. In a significant step to enhance India's maritime security, the Indian Navy will commission INS Aravali at Gurugram today. Defence Ministry in a statement said that INS Aravali, named after the Aravali mountain range, is designed to strengthen the Navy's information and communication infrastructure. The crest of the base comprises central mountain imagery, perfectly symbolising the unwavering and strong Aravali range, and the rising sun representing eternal vigilance, resilience and energy, in addition to the dawn of niche technological capabilities in the field of communications and MDA. Thus, the crest embodies the steadfast commitment of the base to facilitate eternal vigilance in order to defend India's maritime interests. The ceremony will be presided over by the Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi. A two-member Indian Coast Guard's delegation is making it big in the 4th Coast Guard Global Summit currently being held in Rome, Italy. The opening institutional statements delivered by Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, and virtually by Japan's Prime Minister, Shigeru Ishiba, underscored the importance of global Coast Guard cooperation. Indian Coast Guard delegation, led by Director General Parmesh Sivamani, is at the forefront of the Indian involvement. More than 125 countries and international organizations are participating in this global summit on Coast Guard collaboration globally. Notably, the Indian Coast Guard intends to bid for the presidency of the 5th Coast Guard Global Summit, planned to be hosted in India in 2027. More news from India. Tension prevails in the Bijapur district of the central Indian state of Chhattisgarh, where security forces, including DRG units, are engaged in a major anti-Maoist operation. 2 Maoists have been neutralized so far. Bijapur encounter update says that this operation is underway in Ganglur region in Bijapur district of Chhattisgarh. 2 Maoists have been neutralized and the toll may rise as the encounter continues. Security forces include DRG units. They have reportedly surrounded the insurgent group. The recovered weapons include 303 rifle, arms and cache of explosives. Operation launched is based on intelligence inputs about Maoist presence in the district's southwestern region. The crossfire exchange continues since early morning. The daily essentials and tactical supplies have also been seized from the site. The force's strength and location remains undisclosed for operational safety. A comprehensive report will come out once the operation concludes. So this marks the second major development in a row in the ongoing anti-Maoist operations. On Thursday, security forces carried out a successful mission in Chhattisgarh's Garhwal district, where 10 Maoists were gunned down. Now, after more than a fortnight of pause, the holy pilgrimage to the revered Vaishno Devi shrine is set to resume soon. The recent floods had destroyed all ways of communication up to the shrine. The state government is working on restoring roads to facilitate travelling for visitors. The yatra is expected to resume from Sunday, September 14th, subject to favourable weather conditions. The Indian stock markets on Friday opened higher, with all major indices remaining in green territory, exhibiting strong gains. The Sensex and the Nifty jumped with the benchmark Nifty 50 index trading above 25,108 level, while the BSE Sensex is trading with a gain of 410 points a short while ago. Experts suggest that the big catalyst for India will be a US tariff relief, which could happen in the next few weeks, if not sooner. The other catalyst that looms is the September 22nd cut in consumption taxes under the GST 2.0 reforms and tax cuts. Now, days or even weeks without electricity can be common in some parts of the world, but that's not normally the case in Europe. However, parts of Berlin have been without power since Tuesday now. Lars Holter is with Deutsche Welle and joins me from Berlin on the story. Lars, what can you tell us about the situation there?
Thanks for having me. Well, most importantly, especially for the people here in parts of Berlin, the power is back now. Almost all households and institutions are back on, but they've had no power for about 3 days. We're talking about parts of southeast Berlin, where 40,000 households had suddenly lost power. Meanwhile, we know that behind the power outage was not just general weakness in the grid or technical defects. That is usually the first thing that comes to mind. No, we're dealing with the aftermath of, it seems, a political attack. Apparently, a radical left-wing group had set fire to 2 pylons carrying high-voltage power lines. Now, some city officials were shocked not only by the attack itself, but also by how the group might have had some insider knowledge concerning how to effectively target those pylons, where such a fire could indeed cut off transmission to an entire part of the city.
Thank you, Lars, for those updates. Lars Holter joining us from DW Berlin. Time now for some sporting action. First news from badminton. India's top men's doubles team, Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty, entered into the semi-finals of the Hong Kong Open tournament on Friday. The top-seeded Indian duo defeated Malaysia's Junaidi Arif and Roy King Yap in a 3-game thriller. Satvik and Chirag took the opening game 21-14 before narrowly losing to second-seeded 20-22. They bounced back in the decider, sealing the game 21-16 to book their semi-final berth. The duo will next face Chen Cheng Quan and Lin Bing Wei of Chinese Taipei. India's top-ranked singles player Lakshya Sen will face compatriot Ayush Shetty in the quarterfinals of Hong Kong Open on Friday. Lakshya Sen dug deep and battled past countryman HS Pranoy in the pre-quarterfinals. Sen made a sluggish start, allowing Pranoy to dictate terms and pocket the opening game, while Ayush Shetty, who is the only Indian to win a BWF Tour title this year with US Open crown, upset world number 9 Kodai Naraoka of Japan in the pre-quarterfinals. And in Asia Cup, Pakistan will begin their T20 Asia Cup campaign against Oman in Dubai on Friday. Pakistan will be led by Salman Agha, and their recent form has been impressive. Pakistan has won a 3-nation T20 international series involving the United Arab Emirates and Afghanistan. They also beat West Indies 2-1 in a 3-match series. On the other hand, most of the established players of Oman are not in the team due to pay dispute. Pakistan team is likely to treat this game as a warm-up against the bigger challenge against India on Sunday. And with that, we wrap up this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. You can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.